Welcome to Thriving with your host, Dr. Mike Corral. Join the conversation as Mike looks at everything that is essential to optimal living. Coach Mike will discuss what happens when we integrate the functions of the body, heart, and mind, and how they impact our quality of life and general well-being. He'll also examine the distinct areas of life that are impacted by the way individuals care for their bodies, hearts, and minds, and how they interact with each other to allow them to thrive. So now, please welcome the host of Thriving, Dr. Mike Corral.
And welcome to Thriving with Coach Mike. I'm Dr. Mike Corral, and I'd be honored to be your life coach. Before we get started, I want to invite you to engage in a brief ritual that we will be using before each session moving forward. So take a comfortable seat and close your eyes, if you will, and place a hand over your chest and feel the warmth of your hand and allow it to connect with your body, your heart, and your mind. Allow yourself to feel that warmth and feel that energy. And just take a slow breath in, hold it for a moment, and exhale. And do that one more time, assuming an attitude of gratitude for everything that is working well in your life. All the little things that are easy to take for granted. Just remember them. Express your gratitude with one more sigh of gratitude as you exhale through your nose. Ah, very good. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. So now I want to invite you into one of the most meaningful conversations you will probably ever have with yourself. And it's the conversation about your clarity, your direction, and your purpose. We've talked about this before. But for a few moments, let's just set aside all of the outside voices and all of the expectations. I want you to know that you are here to connect with your own truth, not the version that you've been told that you should be connected with. Because this is not about feeling pressured or trying to be perfect in any way. This is about alignment, aligning yourself and gaining coherence, remembering that who you are, why you're here, where you're going, and what you're doing with your life, doing it with intentionality. Okay. So think of it kind of like peeling back the layers and letting go of everything that you're done with, everything that doesn't belong to you, all of the expectations that other people put on you, all of the beliefs and all of the customs and all of the traditions that people tried to place on you. And just accept the reality that is your own. Reconnecting with what truly matters in your life. If you happen to be feeling lost, it's simply because you've been operating at the effect end of the spectrum, of the cause and effect spectrum, instead of being at cause in your life. So you have cause and effect. At one end, you can be the victim of it all. At the other end, you can be the cause of it all. And it's just a matter of deciding which end you're going to be at. Okay? So let's pause here and really unpack what that means. Survival mode is a natural response, and it's your mind and body's way of keeping you safe. When your nervous system is overloaded, your mind is crowded, and your life is noisy, it's nearly impossible to gain clarity. You can't hear your purpose when your mind and body are focused on keeping you safe. So today we're going to intentionally slow things down. Okay? So it's not a sign of failure if you feel uncertain or if you feel just like you're not with it. Or even if you're overloaded with negative emotion, sadness, anger, any of that. It's just your mind and body working overtime and responding to stress and outside stimulus. Challenges, making sure challenges and all of those things, your body's going to try to make sure that you're protected through all of that. So it's a normal human response. What you need to do is know that it's a signal that something within you needs your attention and your care. Okay. And it's important to take the time and know that you deserve to stop, take a breath, and be in the moment. When you react instead of being thoughtfully responsive or trying to stay afloat, instead of pursuing your goals, it's kind of like having your GPS and not being able to pay attention to it because everybody else is talking to you at the same time. The clarity goes out the window. You can't have clarity when there are other distractions. So what you need to do is shut everything off, turn everything off, refocus, reposition yourself, regain your intentions, and be deliberate again. Put yourself back in charge. Like trying to see through a fog. You know there's something important out there, and you don't know what it is because it's covered up. You have to slow down because it becomes more dangerous if you don't. These are the moments where your true desires and your direction to just kind of hide behind everything else. It's almost as if you have to research for your purpose again. It's hard to follow your internal compass when you're overwhelmed, worried, and stressed. Here's the good news. Living with purpose is absolutely within reach. When you acknowledge how survival mode has shaped your experience, it becomes a no brainer. You can slowly transition into a calmer, clearer state, where your sense of purpose can shine. And that shift begins with recognizing your own needs and giving yourself space to reflect. So, what I want you to do now is just imagine your life not as a series of urgent tasks, but as a journey guided by your deeper values, what's most important to you, your most important values, your most valuable principles. Okay. What would you do differently if you were acting from purpose instead of reacting or surviving? What would you do instead of flailing around and panicking? What would you do instead? What would you let go of first? What would you embrace? Think about it for yourself. What would you let go of? How about the panic? How about the worry? You don't need to worry. The worry doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't give you answers. You can let go of that. It's like a weight, right? What would you embrace? You could embrace the clarity, distinction of the goal, the distinctiveness of the goal, knowing exactly what it looks like, what it would feel like to get where you're going, to do what you want to do, who you would do it with, what would the sounds be when you get there, what would that victory look like when you get there, what will you have, what will you be? Those are the things to think of. And guess what? It takes time. You have to slow down to do that. So we feel like we can't afford to slow down, when in fact, that's the only thing you can afford to do. Because if you don't slow down, you're either going to hit something that you can't see, or you're going to run out of energy. You're going to run out of gas. Sometimes with all of that, when you do get quiet, you just notice a quiet longing, something that you've wanted or wish for. When we say, when we tell ourselves we're wishing for something, it feels like it's something we know we can't have, but we just wish we could. It doesn't even seem possible for us. But what if you could listen to the desires of your heart and they would be accurate? They would be things that you were made to accomplish. There would be things that you were made to connect with, to create. Right? Do that for yourself. Allow yourself to connect with your own heart. Deep down, you know you're a good person. Deep down, you know you want good things, not just for yourself, but for those you care about as well. If you had everything you wanted, you would have so much you'd be giving. You'd be sharing so much more with people, making other people happy. That's the kind of person you are, right? So isn't it worth taking the time to listen to your heart, to feel what your heart desires, to feel your feelings and accept them and pursue them? Maybe you sense the need for rest, but you feel like you don't deserve it or can't afford or can't afford it. When your body needs to rest, your body needs to rest because resting period is a time for healing, for your body to recuperate, for your body to regroup. It's a it's a gentle process. Moving from survival mode into purpose mode is a gentle and gradual process. So don't think it's going to happen all at once. Don't think it's going to happen with strain. It's going to happen with relaxation, with calm, with confidence, quiet confidence, with faith, knowing in the back of your mind that everything is going to be fine. And it starts with small steps, acknowledging your feelings, listening inward, giving yourself permission to be imperfect. Living with purpose is not about grand gestures or sweeping changes, big effects. It's about showing up for yourself each day, even in small ways, but with intention, on purpose. Doing what you can do well on purpose. Doing the things you enjoy on purpose. Not doing on purpose. Get it? It's about intention. That's what puts you in charge. As we move forward today, let's practice slowing down together. Okay. I'm going to ask you a few questions and I'm going to invite you to answer honestly. In the privacy of your own heart, in your own mind, guess what? I'm not going to hear your heart. I'm not going to know what your mind is thinking. Oh, I might. But I'm not going to hold it against you. So feel free to answer these questions, not out loud, internally. Again, in the privacy of your heart, in the privacy of your own mind. What are you feeling right now? What thoughts are swirling through your head right now? What does your body need? Does it need rest? Does it need food? Does it need energy? Does it need comfort, reassurance, connectedness? Does it need to be touched? Does it need space? What does your body? Ask yourself and answer honestly. What does it need? Notice if there's pressure to get it right, let it go. Any kind of pressure, let it go. This is a place for authenticity. This is a place for you to be you, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, not what you're supposed to feel or think. Okay. So today, let's slow down together and we'll create space for you to breathe, to listen, to reconnect with what truly matters. This is your chance to step out of survival mode and gently discover your own clarity, your own direction, your own purpose. As we continue, remember that your clarity is not lost. You just kind of lose focus of it. It's still there. You just can't see it yet. So you need to slow down so you don't crash into it. It's like driving in a fog. You know how it feels. Can't see anything. You need to keep going, but you don't know where you're going. Got your high beams on and all you see is mist. So you find a focal point and you slow down until you feel safe, at a pace that is safe, at a pace that you recognize, step by step, foot by foot, mile by mile. You'll get where you're going. Slow it down. So when you lose your clarity, it's simply waiting beneath the surface. And it's waiting for you to uncover it. So you need to give yourself that space, and you need to give yourself that compassion, that respect to slow down. It's a matter of self-respect. It's disrespectful to challenge yourself unrealistically, to expect unrealistic things from yourself. Be yourself. Go at your pace. If it's slow, it's slow. Let's take the next couple of minutes to feel resistance or uncertainty and notice it without judgment. Notice where is the pressure coming from to do anything other than relax or enjoy the confidence of your pace, your gait, cadence. Who says you have to do it any other way? You need to respect yourself and go at your pace with what you know, with what gives you confidence. Because your confidence is what really matters. Your performance is all about your confidence, your intentionality. When we come back, we're going to talk about the root cause, what's blocking your clarity. So don't go away. Stay with us.
Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorick has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
And welcome back. So now that we know how to find your clarity, let's take a look at what's been blocking it. What blocks your clarity? How are we going to unblock it? You need to first understand what that is. And this is where we use what I call root cause exploration. We're going to dig deep into the root causes of this lack of clarity. It's a mind power tool, a mental power tool that helps us uncover the deeper layers of your internal world, what's going on inside of you. Okay. So as we dig deep, I want you to ask yourself and listen for, because you're going to answer these with your heart, with your soul. It's not going to be audible. You're going to feel it and know it. Okay, so I want you to ask, are there beliefs that you inherited that keep you from being clear? Are there external beliefs that are keeping you from being clear? If you answered yes, what are they? What things were you told? What things do you believe? Have you been led to believe that are no longer serving you? Are they religious things, traditional things? Are they cultural things? Are they logistic things, financial things? What things do you believe that are blocking your clarity? Because deep down in your heart of hearts, you know what you're capable of. You know what you want, and you know that it's okay to want those things. So what are those things that block that clarity? What are the expectations that you've absorbed from other people? What expectations are there of how you should be, what you should have, or what you should be doing? What do you think you should be doing right now? What do you think you should have right now? I'll tell you one thing. You shouldn't even be worried about what you have or what you're doing. You should be worrying about being who you are, your original self, your authentic self. You, not the person you're supposed to be. And besides, who's doing the supposing besides you? You know, and you're the only one who has the authority to say what you're supposed to, who you're supposed to be. So think about those expectations that you've absorbed that are not your own. Those are not authentic expectations. And what about the fears that whisper in the background? Oh, you can't do this. You couldn't possibly become that. It's not in your nature to be that. So-and-so wouldn't approve. Those whispers, those negative whispers in your ear can be replaced with positive ones. You are meant to do this. You are meant to feel. You were meant to be creative. You were meant to be powerful. You were meant to be authoritative. You are meant to be strong. You're meant to be confident. And what about the identity that you've been living from? Are you living up to family traditions? Are you living up to expectations from your friends and social groups? Are you living up to spiritual or religious expectations that seem impossible? What identity are you living from? And what about the emotional residue? Did you know that emotional residue shows in the way you carry yourself? In the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you hold yourself, the way you express yourself. There's emotional residue. Sometimes fear, sadness, guilt. All of those things will show up in your presentation, the way you present yourself. Think about it. You'll have the opportunity to let go of all of it. Just drop it like a dirty cloak. And finally, what are the protective patterns that your system created? You know, sometimes if you can remember being shy as a little kid, that shyness is a form of protection from criticism. Sometimes we create these protective patterns because we're afraid of criticism. We don't want to be ashamed. We don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to be proven wrong. We don't want to be made fun of. But what if those patterns are only holding back a powerful performance, a, a talent, a skill, an opportunity, a decision, some insight, some knowledge, some wisdom that everyone can benefit from? Why would you protect yourself from having so much to offer? There's no need. Situations like this, there's no need to be shy. You have something to offer the world. The world will benefit from it, as you will. So you can afford to let go of those protective patterns in your life. You know what they are. And these are all internal barriers, things that cloud your clarity. They're like the fog, but coming from the inside. Maybe you've been living someone else's dream. Maybe you've been following a path that never belonged to you. Maybe it belonged to people that you admired. Maybe you've been trying to be who you were expected to be instead of who you are. People will learn to respect you as soon as you learn to respect yourself. As soon as you learn to present yourself to the world with confidence, people will respect your confidence, because confidence creates confidence. Like begets like. If you learn to be a confident person, people will understand how you carry yourself with such self-respect, and they will begin to respect you in the same way. So clarity does not come from forcing answers. It comes from removing the noise. Clarity doesn't come from getting louder. Sometimes you have to cause people to lean in to you, to hear you. And remember, clarity is a two-way street. When we are unclear, we get unclear signals coming in. When we put out unclear signals, we receive unclear signals. So that clarity works both ways. If you're unsure of yourself, people will be unsure of you. If you're confident about yourself, people will be confident in you. Okay, so stop for a minute. Notice your breath right now, how you breathe. Your heart may have been beating a little bit faster when you came to some of those truths that were scary to face. Notice your shoulders. Relax your shoulders and take a deep breath at the same time. Beautiful. Beautiful. Face, jaw. Is your jaw tense? Is it relaxed? Relax your jaw. Relax your face. Listen to your body. Your body is always telling you exactly where the noise is. When you slow down enough to listen to your body, your clarity will begin to appear. Slowing down is a big deal. Slowing down, sometimes it takes a little bit of skill. It takes a little bit of instinct, a little bit of intuition, following your gut. The more you learn to trust your gut, the more trustworthy your gut will become. Listen to your body. Listen to your own heart. Listen to your own desire. You can gauge your direction by the things you admire, imagining the effects of the things that you desire, putting yourself at cause. If you want to hit a ball out of the ballpark, imagine how that will feel. Not just to yourself, but to everybody to watch you doing that. If you want to create success in some way, if you want to be creative in some way, imagine the effects of it. How will people react? Think of the positive effects. Think of how you want people to react. Do you want people to be proud of you? Do you want people to be excited for you? Do you want people to admire you? Learn to admire things in others and learn to emulate the confidence. When we come back, we're going to look at your principles and discover some more. So don't go away. Stay with us.
Master of words, powerful player, What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Welcome back. So we're going to take a look at where your personal clarity is coming from. First of all, it's not a mystery. You know that, right? More than anything, your clarity is a structure supported by 3 pillars. We're going to call them 3 pillars of clarity, personal clarity. Okay? So the first pillar is your principles, the things that are most important to you, your values. And these are non-negotiable. These are the standards that you live by, the unchangeable standards that you live by, and they're important. When you're unclear, it's usually because you're living out of alignment with your principles. But when you know your principles and you live by them, you're in alignment, you're in integrity, and you're like a well-oiled machine operating, all the different parts working together, all the different gears. So you need to ask yourself, what do I stand for? What kind of person am I? What do I stand for? What's important for me? What's important for me to do, as well as what's important for me to not do? Right? It's a person. Here's an example. Let's just say that you're an actor, and your character is a funny character. So your character is looking for the funny side of everything, and probably doesn't take anything really seriously. Maybe you find calamity funny. You find somebody that trips and falls all the time. You find that funny. That character decides how you respond to things. If you're a different kind of character, let's just say you're a teacher in a role, your way of being is going to be instructional, disciplined, to maintain order so that the other students can learn. So those character roles describe the person's way of being. And so it's important for you to decide who you are and what your principles are. And you begin by asking, what do I stand for? What are the things that I refuse to compromise? What is it about me that I know will never change, that I will not change? Ask yourself that question. Create a list of each one. What do I stand for? Grab a piece of paper and write them down as soon as you can. What do I stand for? What do I refuse to compromise? What values feel like home to me? What are the values that make me feel, yeah, this is me. This is who I am. Sometimes it's easier to know who you're not. Sometimes it's easier to say, well, that's just not me. It's not me to be that way, to do that. But what are you instead? It's not always that easy, especially for someone who lacks clarity. But guess what? You get to decide. You get to decide that. And the way you decide that is by going into your heart and ask your heart what it wants. What do I want? What are the desires of my heart? Your principles are your internal compass. Okay? They're your internal GPS. They guide you. They show you your direction. Number 2, your passion. Passion is not hype. It's not what's popular. It's not about what's exciting. It's not about adrenaline. Passion is what energizes you. It's what motivates you. It's what lights you up. It's what makes you feel alive. Ask yourself, what activities make me lose track of time? What things can I just get lost and forget about time? That's one way to find out what you're passionate about. What conversations give me energy instead of draining energy? What do I love learning about? What things intrigue me? What are the things that I love spending time learning about? Your passion is your fuel. Okay? Your passion is your fuel. Ask yourself those questions. When we come back, we'll take a look at your third pillar, and that is your purpose. So don't go away. So I'll tell you what, let's cover your purpose right now. Your purpose is not a job title. It's not a role. It's not a task. Your purpose is the impact that you're here to make. It's the way your presence changes the room. When you walk into the room, people know what you stand for. People either stop telling the corny jokes or they stop doing one thing and they turn around and listen. And the conversation changes to what you're interested in. That's your purpose. That's what your purpose does. It's the impact that you make in the world. It's the impact that you're meant to make. So ask yourself, who do I become when I'm at my best? What people consistently come to me? What do they come to me for? And what pain in the world am I naturally drawn to heal? Your purpose is your direction. Remember that. If this has been of help to you, please like and subscribe, and please comment. I want to know more about what makes you tick, about how you're moving, how you're growing, and what you're becoming, who you're becoming. Okay? Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week.
This has been Thriving with host Dr. Mike Corral. Listen each week as Coach Mike will talk with guest experts in the areas of physical, mental, and spiritual health to help us dive deeper into those topics and share their insight and expertise on how anyone can thrive regardless of circumstances and perceived limitations. Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern.